Hello, and welcome to Global Voices for English Learners. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Daniel. In this podcast, we explain important international news using clear and careful English, especially for people who are learning the language.
Today, we're talking about recent actions taken by the United States in Venezuela, including the arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro.
This is a complex and sensitive topic. Our goal is not to take sides, but to explain the background, the interests of different countries, and why this situation matters globally.
To understand what is happening now, we need to look at Venezuela's recent history. For more than 2 decades, Venezuela has been governed under a political movement known as Chavismo. It began with Hugo Chavez, who became president in 1999, and continued after his death with Nicolás Maduro. Chavismo combined strong state control of the economy, especially the oil industry, with social programs and a confrontational stance toward the United States and Western governments.
At first, high oil prices helped fund these policies. But over time, corruption, poor management, and lack of investment weakened the economy. When oil prices fell, Venezuela was hit hard. The country entered a deep economic crisis marked by hyperinflation, shortages of food and medicine, and the collapse of public services.
Millions of Venezuelans left the country, creating one of the largest migration crises in modern Latin American history. At the same time, Venezuela's political system became more authoritarian. Elections were widely questioned, opposition leaders were arrested or forced into exile, and many countries stopped recognizing Maduro as a legitimate president.
This internal crisis is only part of the story. Venezuela is also very important geopolitically. The country has the largest proven oil reserves in the world, which makes it strategically valuable.
Over the years, Venezuela developed close relationships with China and Russia. China provided loans, infrastructure projects, and long-term oil agreements. Russia offered political backing, military cooperation, and energy investments. For both China and Russia, Venezuela represented influence in the Western Hemisphere and a challenge to U.S. dominance in the region.
From the perspective of the United States, Venezuela under Maduro was seen as a source of instability, criminal activity, and foreign influence close to its borders. After years of sanctions and diplomatic pressure, the U.S. government said those measures were no longer effective. In early January 2026, U.S. forces carried out a direct operation in Caracas, capturing Nicolás Maduro and transferring him to the United States to face criminal charges.
The U.S. described the operation as a law enforcement action against organized crime and drug trafficking. Critics, however, described it as a violation of Venezuelan sovereignty and international law.
Reactions around the world were divided. Several Latin American countries, including Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia, expressed concern or condemnation, warning that the action could destabilize the region.
Other governments in the region supported Maduro's removal, arguing that his government had caused immense harm to Venezuelan society. China and Russia strongly condemned the U.S. operation, calling it an act of aggression and a dangerous precedent.
European countries reacted more cautiously. Some emphasized respect for international law, while others acknowledged the failure of Venezuela's political system, but urged diplomatic solutions.
At the United Nations, the situation triggered urgent debates about sovereignty, intervention, and global stability.
What this shows is that Venezuela is not just a national crisis. It has become a focal point in a broader struggle between global powers, competing economic interests, and different visions of international order.
Understanding this context helps explain why the events in Venezuela matter far beyond its borders.
Before we finish, we'd like to hear from you. Where are you listening from? Which country or region are you in right now?
And what do you think about this situation? How is it seen in your country or community? If you can, write your comment in English. This is a great way to practice.
Different opinions are welcome. We only ask for respect, even when views are different.
Thank you for listening to Global Voices for English Learners.
We're looking forward to reading your comments. Keep learning, and we'll see you next time.